Hello everybody, welcome back to It's Current Year for another quick battle ladder replay today against MerfaLerf, Twitch streamer extraordinaire, an all-round good guy. We're on Galbaraz. It's the Warriors of Chaos up against the Beastmen, and yeah, we had a little best of 3 series on a stream of his recently, so this was one of the games and it was a pretty good one, so I decided I was going to jump in and cast it. For Murph's force, he's got a bunch of Centaurs with great weapons, 3 of them in fact, one of which is the Sons of Gorus with their magic attacks, a little bit of extra armor. Just a pretty expensive unit, but can get some work done, and good cycle charger, good armor piercing and all that sort of stuff. Ungor herds in the front line, pretty cheap and cheerful, not going to do a lot of killing in their own right, but buffers out your numbers a little bit. A couple of units of Bestigors, 2 Tuskor chariots, and in the air 2 feral manticores, so just a bit of terror, a bit of mobility and punching power. Leading the force, we have a Bray Shaman of Wild, who has taken, looks like Bray Scream and Traderkin, no Jagged Dagger, and he's not on a chariot, which you usually don't see, but probably some funds spent elsewhere for Murph. And leading the force, we have Torox the Brass Bull, and he's rocking all his buffs today. He's got Slaughterer's Call, the Rune Tortured Axes, Blood Beast, and the Brass Body, so he's a real beat stick Torox. I like him a lot, and let's see if we can get some work done against the Chaos Warriors of Chaos today. So for my force, Horsemasters over this side, 3 units of regular horsemen on this side, as well as some hounds. I've probably got the mobile advantage. I can probably do some work against these Centaurs with great weapons. They're not shielded, so we'll see what we can get done there. Chaos Marauders in the front line, a couple of units of Forsaken, a unit of Chaos Marauders, and I took some Halberds, just kind of something I've been throwing into units. I'm not really getting the results I would have liked with them, but they're a bit of armor piercing. They've got some anti-large. They can maybe soak up stuff like chariots a little bit better and put some damage into Torox, but yeah, haven't been getting great results. I'll talk more about them later. So Exalted Heroes on Manticores, 2 of them up in the sky. They both just are completely naked apart from their mount, and leading the forces of the Warriors of Chaos, we have the Imposter, Sartorial, the not real Lord of Change. What am I talking about? He will be soon to be usurped by Kharos Fate Wither, I'm sure. So Syrian Doom, Plague of Rust, and Final Transmutation. I've also got the Scroll of Power. So I pretty much kept all his buffs. I stripped off Metal Shifting, it does look like. But yeah, you can spam out some Final Transmutations with obviously with the aid of some extra Arcane Conduits. So he's got a good spell set and a good little kit there, so offers a lot in this matchup. So skirmish force out here obviously makes put some shots into these Centaurs, but they are going to get away. I see potentially some free damage out here, with the speed debuff. Speed differences in the early game not so great. In the late game they will be able to catch Marauders with I guess fatigue buff debuffs coming in. But in the early game I can get some shots in, but I'm going to pull back. I probably should have been staying on them, to be honest, but I just don't want to get too far overextended, and wasn't sure if this was everything I was up against at the moment either, so if there were some Ungor Raiders in the back that could shoot us down, didn't want to get too overextended. So Marauders counter-charging here into Centaurs. There's some Bestigors down here. The Chaos Marauders getting in. We're making pretty quick work of all the Ungor herd. But we're not getting a great engagement here. Well, it would be a good engagement if I wasn't fighting on such a narrow frontage. Big Overcast Final Transmutation going down here. Getting both the Manticores. I'm hoping to rampage both of them so I can actually get them, pull them away. And I do manage to rampage one, but Murph has pulled out with one of the units. So not a bad Final Transmutation, but not the best. Unfortunately, I did swoop down here to try and put some damage in to the Wild Sorcerer. It's going to cost me one of my Exalted Heroes, so a massive early game blunder, but I do see an opportunity to maybe get my Halberds through here and just buff out the front rank, separate this Death Ball from the rest of the fight, which overall is going okay for me. I've got the Forsaken coming in here and the Javelins coming into the Centaurs on this side. We have put a lot of our jabs into these Centaurs, and my Horsemasters and everything are quite healthy. Sartorial, not sure I intended this. I must have had him. He's probably chasing these Ungor herds, which he was trying to terror out, and unfortunately he's just getting pulled massively out of position here, and a big lapse in concentration on my behalf, and this little Beastman Death Ball is going to be pretty dangerous. The Centaurs now, we do manage to get them off with the Hounds. We will charge them. Without a counter charge, Hounds will actually trade upwards very nicely into Centaurs just through their lack of armor. But these Manticores here are proving to be a bit of a pain. I know my Exalted Hero on the Manticore can take a Feral Manticore, but there's obviously Bestigors down here as well. Traderkins going down over here on Horsemasters, which will slow them, potentially allow them to be caught by the Centaurs if they come after me, but at the moment it just looks like damage. Doesn't look like they're dropping too many models. And my Halberds unfortunately getting beset upon by the Bestial Gore Herd, which I am putting an Overcast Plague of Rust on, so I can turn and burn with my Javelins. Down to 35 armor, you can see here taking a lot of damage from the Horsemasters. So I want to get this unit off the battlefield because it's, you know, they can punch above their weight, I guess. They can be just very annoying. Got good armor. I'm really lacking armor piercing here now without the Marauder Great Weapons. They've gone down. You know, the Exalted Heroes and Sartorial don't have a ton of AP, so I just want to get these guys off the battlefield, and I want to get them off my Chaos Warrior Halberds. I'm not fast enough to run away here. So we've done a good job, though. We've got a lot of damage into them, and they probably will break. But elsewhere, Taurox is just pretty much perfectly healthy, and that spells a real danger for me in the late game, because I don't have a lot here that's going to be great at killing him. Numbers advantage is definitely on my side. We've managed to work off, you know, the single entities. The Traderkins have been pretty impressive by Murph, actually. No Overcast Traderkins, and I think this is the third one so far for the game. And it's just debuffing my Marauders, not doing a ton of damage, but just maybe a more cost-effective use than Overcasting, and particularly without the Jagged Dagger to regen your Winds of Magic. So once again, the Death Ball here has been kind of worked down. This Feral Manticore is just won't go away. We are getting another Plague of Rust in on Taurox, because I realise, okay, he is very healthy and he's basically the last thing left. We see a Brace Scream go down, and then the fiery effect from Taurox's ability, as well as Brass Body. So a really nicely timed Brass Body to mitigate the loss of armor, and my Javelins just aren't doing as much as they need to. Taurox now has set his eyes on Sartorial, and that is not a fight that Sartorial wants, even with the melee defense buff from Stand or Die. I can't take that fight. I can't afford to lose Sartorial. He's also Arcane Conjuring out just to try and get something out in the end. But my infantry is just really tattered, and I just don't have a lot of sort of burst damage in my Marauder Horsemen left. We've got some Marauders coming back to the fight here, but there are still Chariots, and there are still 3 unit models here, which really sucks. We do manage to kill one right as I say that. Bestigor is just sort of getting picked off by Marauder Horsemen. These ones here, I think I do pull up, just put them in a charge and try and just burst down these Bestigors to get everything back to the front line here. But Sartorial is on his last legs. I don't know how much Winds of Magic I have at this point. The Manticores are still running wild, and I really have nothing that can... Yeah, I can force them to land through Rampage, but my stuff's so tattered that it's just going to terror out as well. I'm really caught between a Brass Bull and a hard place at the moment. And look at Taurox. Just not a care in the world. 4.2k HP left. He can probably solo everything I've got left. Another Traderkin is going to go down, catch both these units of Marauders. The speed debuff will mean both these Manticores, which themselves are very tattered, but... You know, a Feral Manticore at, full HP hits with basically the same strength as a Feral Manticore with 600 HP. And unfortunately for me at the moment, I haven't just been able to finish them off. Not sure if my ammo could have been used better. Not sure if we had a follow-up. You know, Hounds can tie them up reasonably well once you Rampage them, but they still are susceptible to terror outs. The Halberds coming back here might give me a little bit of buffering, but at this stage I'm kind of just thinking I've got to just get everything I can into Taurox. I didn't have, obviously don't have enough for a final transmutation or anything. I'm trying to get some cycle charging in on him to maybe get lucky. It's just a desperation play at this stage though. The Halberds, even with Stand or Die, are going to terror out. The Feral Manticore is going to finish off Sartorial, and that is going to be the game. No, Taurox might lay the killing blow. In any case, down goes Sartorial, and with it, my chances of victory. So a valiant defeat, and I can't help but feel like I kind of snatched defeat from the jaws of victory in this game, because The early and the mid game went pretty well for me. I felt like I separated the death ball from the rest of the stuff. You know, even the Bestigors were quite separated from, you know, the chariots, the Bray Shaman, and I think the Manticores were rampaged away from it. I was able to finish that off reasonably smartly, but I just wasn't able to get enough damage into Taurox. And in the end, you know, 2.2k damage value and very, very healthy. There's, you know, you can't really send your Exalted Heroes at him in the early game because then he'll run away and, you know, they can mass pin you with Tuskors, the Centaurs could burst you down, the Feral Manticores can jump in. Losing that Exalted Hero in the early game was a massive blunder. I saw the Wilds caster there and I thought, you know, it'd be nice to not have to deal with Tradekins for the rest of the game, and certainly the Tradekins were pretty decent, 1.2k damage value there. No overcast damage value, which without the Jagged Dagger was probably actually a really good call, because I think he got 4 or 5 of them off over the course of the battlefield. And didn't do any sort of, you know, disastrous damage, but just sort of worked them down, kept them at bay, and yeah, over the course of the battle, done a fair bit of damage. So Sartorial's final transmutation probably wasn't as good as it needed to be. 28 Winds of Magic is a lot, even on a character like him that can, you know, Arcane Conduit, and then with the Scroll of Power pump out another one straight afterwards. Probably just didn't do enough, and between the Exalted Heroes, you know, that's 1300 gold there, I think. 1100 gold, maybe. Not justifying their cost whatsoever, and that's completely on me. These guys are pretty good units. You know, you could sick them both onto Taurox with an overcast Plague of Rust, and they could do some real work on him. But I just didn't have that option in the late game. Halberds, I'm surprised got that much value. They were fighting some Bestigors, which is not a fight they want, but they did get in on the chariots, and I think they did manage to get a few hits in on these Manticores between them. Both the Manticores have got great damage value. Centaurs, outside of Sons of Goros, probably haven't done a lot, and I'm actually surprised they got that much. I'm not sure what they've killed for their 42. Probably got a lot of damage on my Exalteds or something like that. But yeah, overall, I don't hate this list. I probably might be tempted to swap out the Chaos Warriors, potentially just for another unit of Forsaken, maybe for just some great weapons, maybe just go wider with Chaos Marauder great weapons, because I have seen Chaos Warrior builds in this matchup with multiple Halberds, and they just grind it out, but it didn't really, yeah, the single unit of Halberds didn't really complement this list very well. But nevertheless, GG's to Murph. It was a fun game, and yeah, valiant defeat, but can't help but feel like I probably could have won this game. A few little micro blunders really cost me quite badly. Anyway, cheers for checking it out, and we'll be back with more soon. Take care.